all that leaves me to do is to hand you over to the two gentlemen on my left. I won't thank them yet, as there are reports what they're about to say may prove upsetting. There are some small children in the room, so if you could brace yourselves, please. I will say this, however. Please remember that last year both suffered serious head injuries, and while their doctor assures me that most of what they say is nonsense, it is better just to indulge them as an aid to their recovery. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attendance. We're not actually here, gathered here today to celebrate the holy matrimony, as you may believe, of this happy couple, but we're actually here to judge the character of one Mark Alexander Smith. We feel that he hasn't had a fair trial by jury, and that Catriona Smith, name acknowledged, still get out, has entered into marriage with the defendant without full knowledge of the facts of his case. We feel it is only right that while still within the 14-day cooling off period, supplying with every contract of marriage, Serge, as is best men, speak to that. As is best men, we stand before you, the jury, to present the cases for the prosecution and the defence. Representing the Procurator Fiscal and presenting the case for the prosecution is myself, Stephen David Osprey. I've known Mark now for almost 10 years, and throughout that time I've gathered sufficient evidence, I believe, to condemn Mark to a life of solitude and self-loathing.
And representing Mark Alexander Smith, aka Smit, Smitty, Smot, Smut, Mark, Big Smiddy, the list goes on, and my personal favourite, Bilbo Smiggins. It's myself, Richard James Wallace, who has had the pleasure of this fine gentleman's friendship since birth. And I feel that my having known Mark all his days puts me in a unique position to testify that he is in fact an honourable and upstanding gentleman.
Firstly, if Mark had proposed when he should have, we would all be doing this speech around 2009. Owing to Mark's legendary timekeeping skills, here we are. And it's poor timekeeping and lack of precision that are at the very heart of the first piece of evidence that I'm going to lay before you today. Not 4 years ago, Mark had a pristine Milano red Honda Civic SE, which fell foul of these very character traits. Running late on a cold winter's day, not having sufficient time to demist the windows or learn the basics of spatial awareness. This shining example of Japanese manufacturing prowess met with an Asda Hamilton bollard. Thankfully, Mark managed to limit the damage using his cat-like reflexes, describing the damage as a dent. And for those who didn't see the driver's side door of Mark's Civic during the 2-year gap between incident and selling the car, here's a copy of the Auto Trader listing. If the clicker works.
Yes, Mark is somewhat inelegant, and yes, his spatial awareness is questionable at best. And yes, he took the life of a Honda Civic too early. But it's that energy and uncontrollable zest for life that resulted in one of the finest moments of dance the Hong Kongers and Hammonds have ever witnessed. Picture the scene. 3 in the morning, 6 weary young men in an unfamiliar nightclub, trying to kickstart an underwhelming night. Unwilling to call time in the party, Mark arrives at the table with 12 vodka Red Bulls and a can-do disco attitude. 45 minutes later, and it's every man for himself. One of the guys is throwing some serious shapes with some young ladies. Another is doing shots at the bar with a team of Japanese businessmen. And having underestimated my opponent, I've just been eliminated from an intense dance-off. I then realised I had lost sight of Mark. Growing concerned, I pushed my way through the packed dance floor, and it was then that I realised that all eyes were fixed on one man, for on stage, mic in hand, spinning his t-shirt above his head and commanding 300 odd Hong Kongers in what I can only describe as an extremely advanced dance class was Mark Smith, and that's the type of guy we're talking about.
That is the type of guy we're talking about. It's that unbridled aggression that has assaulted every bunker, tree and golf club Mark can get his hands on. I present Exhibit A. Mark. Mark got angry and threw his collar into the nails and had to retrieve it in the middle of a competition.
Objection! That is one moment in a golf course in serious competition. In reply, I'd like to submit Exhibits B through F, depicting a lifetime of adventure, lifetime of adventure, yeah,
It's IT.
compassion, athleticism and fashion, fun, romance, and bromance.
And in response, I would like to submit Exhibits G to O, depicting a lifetime of laziness, depravity, public indecency, violence, gluttony, and heavy drinking, causing uncontrollable vomiting here, and 2,000 feet above here. And as if that wasn't enough, repeated run-ins with the law, the most recent of which started with an inappropriate joke from the defendant at the US-Canadian border and ended in a thorough interview by an Agent Cooper. Unfortunately, due to a US Border Agency investigation into the incident, I cannot share the evidence with you. To do so would disbar me from practising law for life. Thankfully, I'm in sales. And you can ask Mark about that one later. And yes, it is genuine.
In all seriousness, I'd like to thank Mark for having me by his side for this, his finest hour. Throughout his life, I have been present as Mark has grown and developed into a consummate individual. And throughout this time, to call him a friend, if not a brother, is one of my greatest privileges. From constructing cities of Lego as children to failed business ventures as adults, he has continually brought balance to my life, employing sound logic, calming timing and calm, whenever my poorest qualities have shone through. When time and distance have applied pressure, our friendship has never faltered, simply continuing on with the same camaraderie that's been present since the beginning. And so it is, on to the next chapter in his life. And for this chapter I am delighted for Mark, knowing that in Catriona he has found a companion who is worthy of all his virtues.
And reluctantly, I'll have to concede that point. Over the last 10 years, Mark has been the Swiss Army knife of friends to me. Equal parts counsellor, confidant as he is golf buddy, travel companion and competitor. And it's the ease with which he plays these roles in my life that leaves me no doubt whatsoever that Mark will be a fantastic husband to Catriona. Approaching that largest of all roles with his trademark blend of humour, energy and passion for life. Congratulations, mate. However, I simply cannot ignore the testimony of, under oath especially, of individuals who have known Mark for far longer than I have. And if it please the court, and PowerPoint, I would like to call my first witness. Witness X cannot be here this evening due to a separate legal proceeding with the Canadian authorities, but he joins us live via Skype. Good evening, Witness X. I believe you were present on the evening of the 30th of June 2006.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. I certainly can't remember the night in question. We've been at the hotel pool and bar area all evening, having a few drinks. Most of us on beers, Mark on his usual sex on the beach. We decided to go for a quick sauna before heading out for the rest of the night. The sauna was located in the gentleman's changing area. We all went in there. Around 30 seconds later, Mark appeared, and he was very proud of himself and also very, very naked. He was in front of myself, and I had a look around the sauna to make sure I wasn't wrong. Maybe we all should be naked. So he was the only naked man in the room. I caught eyes with a very confused looking Richard Wallace, who then posted the question to Mark, Smith, why are you naked? At which point Mark turned around with a look of fear and shame in his eyes. He sprung from his seat. Again, we all had to have a look at his little man. We then had to witness him scrambling to the door with his wee naked white bum. And he does so to the laughter of the five of us and also the three elderly Chinese gentlemen at the time. He is truly a disgusting man.
Disgusting man. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we can all agree that that final testimony from jury from the States, from Canada, of course, will come for that, removes any doubt that this man has knowingly and willfully entered into a contract of marriage while concealing his true identity, thereby deceiving us all. I rest my case.
I would also like to call a witness. I present to the court, not broadcast live from some silly country, but here tonight, the star of the evening and looking truly stunning, along with her amazing bridesmaid entourage, who have done an exceptional job in their duties today. Mrs. Catriona Smith. Hey. Mrs. Smith, do you recall a day of mysterious envelopes leading you from one lavish pampering session to the other?
I do.
And do you remember arriving at your favourite restaurant in a luxury Mercedes to be greeted by your then boyfriend, Mark Smith?
I do.
And once you had ordered and had a glass of champagne in hand, do you recall Mark Smith, this champion of men, getting down on one knee?
I do.
Well, I put it to you, Mrs. Smith, that he asked you a question, and what was your answer to that question?
Yes.
Lost one of my cue cards. Anyway, in the 8 years of knowing Mark, in that time, Catriona Smith would have continually judged Mark's character, much more so than this court could have done in 10 minutes. And in all that time, she would have judged that he was in fact a good guy. I rest my case.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, now that the facts have been laid before you, you must now come to a verdict. If you feel that the defendant is in fact guilty and deserves to be sentenced to a pitiful and lonely existence, on the count of three, shout guilty. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. But, hint, if you feel that the body of evidence clearly shows that the defendant is not guilty and should live a long and happy life as Catriona Smith's husband, after three, shout not guilty. 1, 2, 3.
Not guilty.
Brilliant. In that case, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and raise your glasses for a toast to the happy couple.